Misty and welcome to another video. Today we're reading chapter 15 of Hermitcraft Retribution. That's right? Yeah. And we're on part 4 of the story, and we are in the perspective of Scar. I mean, it's already in the title and the thumbnail, but yeah. It's pretty clear that if you don't want to get spoiled, you probably want to... I mean, it doesn't matter now because literally you can see the end of the last chapter, but honestly, if you don't care, I would love to have you stick around and enjoy the show. See what happens. And if you do like these videos, feel free to subscribe because it does help me out. And if you have any ideas for future stories in this little world of mine, this little Clockwork universe with other hermits or other YouTubers, like any of the Empire's folk, any of the Hermitcraft folk, and yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying to think right now about other ideas and trying to incorporate a lot of other storylines, but we'll see how that goes. Right now, let's see how this goes. If you do enjoy these, well, you know what to do. Chapter 15. We'll see if this is the only chapter, but there's a very good chance it might not be. It depends. Scar watched at this. Let's try that again. Scar watched the staircase down to the secret tunnel with anticipation. He gripped the armrests of his wheelchair, trying to fight back tears. Green needed his help. Green was in trouble. Scar? Caitlin asked. The hermit didn't look in her direction. The girl put a gentle hand on the hermit's shoulder. Scar, watching the stairs, silence. Do you think he'll be okay? I think so. Scar said softly, his eyes not leaving their place. They should be coming up soon. Kate nodded, glancing over her shoulder warily. Caleb was standing at the doorframe of the kitchen. In the doorframe of the kitchen, silently watching, waiting. The boy hadn't wanted to leave Scar alone just yet, especially with the potential threat still at large. Do you know what's happening? Caleb asked calmly, speaking up for the first time. Scar closed his eyes, letting out a long sigh, reaching out to Impulse's link. A wave of calm and peace filled him, as the hermit managed to smile, opening his eyes. I think the danger has passed. Do you know who it was? Caitlin frowned. That he did not tell me. Scar pointed out with a smirk. What matters right now is making sure our friends are safe. We'll worry about details later. Kate smiled. Okay. We need to make these staircases more accessible, though, Scar mused, rolling his wheels forward and backwards, half-heartedly. But Impulse was right. Someone needed to stay here in case there was more trouble. Kate frowned, looking over her shoulder warily. I don't see any trouble. You never know. Scar shook his head again, his attention peaking when he heard footsteps, running footsteps. He rolled back out of the hallway, glancing over at Caleb with caution. The boy nodded, straightening. Scar, is it all clear up there? Up here? Up there, up here, whatever. Probably could be up there, because, Impulse's voice called from below, his footsteps followed by another. Should be. I haven't heard anything. Scar shouted down as the hermit appeared, with a boy about 16 with brown hairs and amber eyes, carrying something in his arms. No, it wasn't something, Scar realized as he swallowed. What happened? Kate gasped in horror, putting a hand over her mouth, her eyes widening. That's close enough. A couple of guys thought it'd be a good idea to try to hurt him, the boy replied calmly, already running down the hall. Haley appeared a moment later, running after him. Blake's coming up with Kaden, Impulse noted calmly. Luke went back for Eliza. Are they okay? The girl asked softly. Do you need me to help in any way? Caleb frowned. Impulse shook his head slowly, looking back toward the hall. It should be fine. I don't think they'd double back. Caden's badly hurt, and Luke wanted to make sure Eliza was okay. I don't think the men intended to hurt her, Scar replied simply. I don't either, Impulse nodded. He had no issue threatening the boys, though. But I guess he wanted them out of the way. Why attack when they're in range to help? Kate frowned. They must be afraid of Caden, or one of us stepping in. Caleb shrugged. Sure about that. Impulse looked over to the boy. Stuart was there. Scar replied with certainty. Yes, Impulse confirmed. Kate gasps again. I think we know how they managed to slip in without detection. It's tunnels, Caleb noted. But I thought you had security enabled. I did, Impulse replied, shaking his head. This means someone can't go through and turn them off or destroy them. Poor Grian, Kate murmured, looking down at her lap. Kate murmured. Scar looking down at his lap. Scar looking down at his lap, blinking away the image of the boy carrying his unconscious friend, his chest and shoulder having been bandaged. Green's face pale, looking frail, like he would shatter into a million pieces, not handled with care. Green will be okay, Impulse said with an air of confidence as footsteps followed his statement. Blake appeared, carrying Caden in his arms. The man's right arm was wrapped in a sling, and he had bandages over his face. Luke's right behind us, Blake said matter-of-factly. Liza's okay. Impulse let out a sigh of relief, letting a smile form on his face. That's good. This has to be the fastest time yet, Kate admitted with a giggle, looking over at Blake. Apart from your arrival, of course. Of course. Blake gave her a smile. Green has 3 people keeping an eye on him, and someone still got in. They always find a way. Impulse sighed. Scar watched Blake disappear around the corner, with Caden feeling tears pricking his eyes. He felt the fear washing over him when Green had seen what happened to Caden. The desperation and hope that he would be okay, that he wouldn't lose another protector. Scar? Kate frowned as the hermit looked up, meeting her eyes. I'm okay. Just lost in thought, Scar muttered aloud. Before anyone could say more, 2 figures appeared in the doorway. A tall boy was letting go of a girl, steadying her when they arrived at the top. The boy looked awfully similar, not like, to his brother, Josh. The hermit wondered if they were twins. Yeah. The girl's hazel eyes looked around, her blonde hair resting on her shoulders. Where's Grant? The girl, Eliza, demanded, looking around the room cautiously. Upstairs. Haley's taking care of him. Impulse noted. He'll be okay. So will Caden. She nodded her head reluctantly. Scar could see her eyes starting to water. Okay. Can I go see him? Sure. Impulse smiled gently, pointing toward the stairs as the girl went for it. Luke hesitating with uncertainty. Those guys won't come back, will they? Luke said nervously. Probably, Impulse nodded. Do you know what they wanted? Only that they wanted to hand him over. Luke shook his head. Maybe the guy said something about allies? Impulse said thoughtfully. He met his gaze over at Scar. We might have to talk with Green in the dream world. So long as he isn't trapped in the nightmare again. Scar shuddered. He had been trying to stay close to Green in case one of those nightmares came. Now, when they'd come, Julius had said they would. The hermit had tried to shield Green, but the nightmare instead had dragged him in as well. He'd called for help mentally to Impulse, who was while watching a shadow loom over him, the face of Gerald gleaming in the enchanted light of his fire aspect blade. Yeah, Impulse said nodded grimly. He hasn't had a dream like that again yet, has he? Scar shook his head. Not yet, but something like today, I would not be surprised if it came back to haunt him. Wait, did you see his nightmare? Kate asked curiously. Worse, it dragged me in, Scar told her simply. Oh. Her green eyes widened. I've never heard that before. Neither have I, Impulse admitted, shaking his head before straightening. I'm going to go check on some systems in the tunnel. Do you want to come with, Luke? Josh will be fine upstairs, right? Luke asked. Of course. Impulse smiled. It's just to check in to see the damage. I just don't want to go in alone. All right. Luke nodded hesitantly. But Matthias told us to settle in first. Impulse sighed. Clearly, that isn't the case now after what happened. I suppose you're right. Luke smirked, turning toward the stairs. Let me know if you need my help with anything. Impulse said nothing, giving Scar a friendly wave before following the teen down the stairs, disappearing from view. Caleb watched in silence for a moment before looking up. You might want to head up, Scar. The others might need your assistance. Scar nodded, rolling out into the hall toward the new elevator. Kay was right behind him. Is it okay if I ride with you? I have no problem with that. Scar smiled sincerely at the girl. She returned the smile, stepping onto the lift. Scar rolled in behind her, pressing a button as it rose. He noticed Caleb taking the stairs calmly. Scar rolled onto the hallway. A moment later, seeing the sleepover room door was open. Blake stepping out. Impulse was in the tunnel to check the system. I'll get down there then. Blake smiled gravely at the hermit. You'll be good here? Yeah, I keep an eye on Grian. Scar nodded. I've done this sort of thing before. Blake nodded, heading down the hall, passing Caleb. The boys exchanged looks and silent nods as they passed. Scar wasn't sure what was or wasn't said between the two, but it didn't matter. Caleb stepped over to the room, standing in front of it. Guarding? Kate mused with a smile. It's part of the job description. Caleb nodded simply, his posture straight and alert. Do you need some space, Scar? Kate asked as Haley peeked out from the doorway. Don't be far, that's all I'll say. Scar chuckled. Everything good, Haley? Yeah, she nodded. I'm gonna go check on Caden now. He seems to need more work, especially since he doesn't have the healing factor. She stepped out of the room, Scar rolling out of her way. Kate smiled at him, following Haley down the hall without question. Scar rolled into the room, careful not to get his wheels snagged in one of the sleeping bags. He saw Grian lying in a bed across the room, blinking covering his injuries, his pale face soaked in afternoon sunlight. He looked peaceful, relaxed. Sitting on the chair next to him was Eliza, staring down at the floor silently. Eliza? Scar asked softly, as if she'd startle and run off like a rabbit if he got too close. She looked at him, meeting his eyes. You could see tears in her bright hazel eyes. I didn't hear you come in. Oh, do I have stealth mode still on? Scar checked, pressing a button as he smiled, rolling up to her, angling his chair so he was sitting beside her. There, that's better. She chuckled. I'm Eliza. Scar! The hermit held out a hand for her to shake. She took it with reluctance. Is everything okay? It's been a long day, she admitted, shaking her head. Honestly, didn't expect to be thrown right into the thick of it on the first day. None of us did, Scar assured her. Caden was worried this may happen. Eliza nodded, looking down at her feet. At least they'll both be okay. Yeah. Scar said gently. You did great back there. Hi. She raised an eyebrow. You alerted the boys that something was wrong. Scar pointed out. They were able to get Caden's attention and tried to stop him. If you hadn't made your move, it's very likely he would have taken Green and disappeared with him. The girl swallowed. You think so? I'm saying it is so, Scar chuckled. You did great. Eliza smiled uneasily. Thanks. Just wish I could have done more. As always next time, Scar offered, putting a hand on the girl's shoulder. She shook her head. I don't know. Not everyone is perfect. Not even a protector, Scar said simply. You're still learning. So are our friends. Caleb failed to protect me one time, and I got myself captured. It happens. Doesn't mean it's the end, though. Really? Eliza asked hopefully. Really? Scar gestured to his sleeping friend. Green's alive because of you, Eliza. She smiled sadly. Thanks, Scar. It's just Eliza didn't finish her sentence, her voice cutting off with a long, heavy sigh. Scar squeezed her shoulder gently. I believe in you, Eliza. I know you're doing your best. We all are. I trust you. You barely even know me, she pointed out. He chuckled. I'm giving you the chance. You're brave, strong. I think I can trust you with something like protecting us. I'm not sure if I'm cut out for this, not after. A tear slipped down the girl's cheek. Eliza wiped it away with a hand, not meeting the hermit's eyes. You want to talk about it? Scar tilted his head curiously. I'm not sure, she swallowed nervously. We all carry things that sometimes should be carried alone, Scar offered. Eliza nodded. I wanted to help people, because I knew it was what my parents did before me. When I was really young, we would shelter YouTubers in our house. My younger brother and I would... She took a shaky breath, trying to keep herself together. My brother and I would sometimes hang out with them, too, after school. But then one day some men came knocking on our door and demanding to know where we've been hiding. We were home with one of the adults at the time when our parents were out working. She stifled a sob. We tried to get out, but watch that they killed my little brother in front of me. No. Scar gasped in horror. Why would they do that? To their real target to come back. To get their real target to come back, she sniffed. I was told to go, and the last thing I heard was a scream. I should have been there to protect my brother, and yet I failed. So you want to help to make sure that doesn't happen again, Scar gasped. Eliza nodded. That's about right. My parents never let me hear the end of it when they found out. They blamed me for what happened. If I'd just been more careful, more considerate of where my brother was, I think your brother would be proud of you for what you did today. Scar said softly. Eliza smiled weakly. But I don't want to. Failure is a normal thing to happen. We're not perfect. Scar said firmly. It's what we do when we fail that matters. Do we give up, or do we get up and try again? I know what you chose. She giggled. Okay, yeah, you're right. Scar watched as Eliza got to her feet, glancing over at Grian before meeting Hermit's eyes. She should probably let you have some space with him. No, it's okay, Scar said quickly. It's probably smarter if I'm not alone. Sure, I have Caleb outside, but I don't mind the extra company. Eliza smiled, sitting back in her seat. So, how bad are his nightmares? Tense, Scar chuckled nervously. Last one dragged me in. If it hadn't been for Haley and Impulse, I'm not sure what would have happened. Is there anything I could do to help? Eliza offered. I'm not sure yet, Scar smiled gently. But a friendly face for him is good. So, do you want to tell me about yourself? She chuckled. Seems only fair that I gave you my story. Where would you like me to start? Scar mused. Maybe the beginning? How did you meet Grian? Your other friends? Well, Scar looked up at the ceiling, trying to gather his thoughts, an echo of a memory starting to surface. Some may call it an accident, or fate. Perhaps it was both. It all started on a beautiful day. No clouds in sight, with the sun shining high above in the bright blue sky. Yeah, that's going to be the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. The next one will be coming soon, probably in a week. So, yeah. Feel free to leave any thoughts and theories of what you might think is happening, because this is the first time I'm doing something like this, going much further back than usual. So, yeah. Finally get a little origin story, and like, if you do come back, you might catch a few Easter eggs, at least from what I got. Yeah, I didn't do it as well as I would have liked, but I mean, what I did is alright. Alright enough for me to share, but yeah. Yeah, just deepening the lore, because you know that's what you do in these things. Alright, I'll be off. Have a good day.